Oh yeah, the new UNI-T UT61E Plus is in the house. Brand new from UNI-T, the UNI-T UT61E Plus. Oh, we've all been waiting for this one, haven't we? Can hardly wait. Big thanks to UNI-T for sending this out for the review. So this is hot off the presses, the brand new UNI-T UT61E Plus. Wow, what can I say? Starting off with that box, gorgeous as always. UNI-T does a stand-up job when it comes to displaying the merchandise. You know, you're getting one cool looking multimeter, and look at that, 22,000 counts. There are 3 variations on the theme. This is the most expensive of the 3. The B Plus and D Plus are a little bit cheaper. They don't have nearly the specs, though. Look at that, 220 mega ohm for the 61E Plus as opposed to the 60 mega ohm for the D and the B Plus. Wow, quite a difference as well. That high current, 20 amps as opposed to 10. And finally, the frequency, look at that, 220 megahertz. Whoa, out of this world. So you can see you have some pretty incredulous specifications coming out for the new UNI-T, especially that high-end model, the 61E Plus, which is what we're looking at today. Quite a lot of goodies shipped with this one. Let's start off with our registration certificate telling us we have a date of manufacture of October 2020. How is that for brand spanking new, huh? I mean, barely, not even a month old. Wow. And we have some more little UNI-T literature here, documents, download and operation guide, and a Chinese version, I guess, of the same thing. Finally, we have this little doohickey. This is an HFE add-on. It goes right into the meter, like so. And as you can see, we do have our HFE test over here. So just when you thought transistor testing was dead on a multimeter, UNI-T comes and brings it back in style. Also have our USB dongle because yes, this does talk to your computer. Wow, that'll be interesting to take a look at as well. Finally, we have our UNI-T test leads, and these feel absolutely amazing. We'll take a closer look at those in just a minute. Let's not forget that UNI-T manual. Whoa, look at this. Full color, nice and large type fonts. Nice pictures. Chinese and English, and yeah, what can I say? Much better than your standard looking manual. Good job, UNI-T. If we compare the brand new UT61E Plus to some of its brethren, you can see it's pretty well on par in terms of size. Definitely not as big as that 181A on the far left, but yeah, it is a good size meter. Not overly big, but definitely not a small meter as well. Fit and finish wise, it's very nice, has that new modern UNI-T style molding. The boot is built right into the device itself, so no, you can't take it apart. It's all part of the chassis. On the back of the unit, we have that new telltale stand. Just love it. Looks like every other UNI-T that has come out in the last year or so. Nice and wide, has a little bit of a rubber inlay at the bottom, so it really hugs that surface and you don't have to worry about it moving around. Very, very nicely done. Looks like a thread of, like a tripod thread or some sort of mount. Anyway, is what it is, but yeah. Of course, we have our USB header here at the top. Once again, this does talk to your computer. Nice. Our couple of stops for the test leads themselves. And as well, here you can tell we've got the NCV. So the test leads go in the holder just like that, nice and firm. So if you want to probe, what have you, hands-free, well then you're free to do so. Yeah. Now, one thing that is sadly lacking is the fact that we have no independent lab certification. So we have ratings on the new meter, but we don't have it certified by third party. No TUV, no GS, UL, nothing. Unlike the UT191T over here on the right. Yeah, the new UNI-T has no independent certification. Oh, that's too bad. Well, we'll see how that's going to affect the input protection when we open it up in just a bit. As well, the new UNI-T is not IP certified, so no weatherproofing on the 61E. Buttons are much the same as the Pro Series. Nice soft touch buttons. Really have a good feel. And that selector switch, once again, nice tactile feel. No worry about getting lost in between ranges. really, really nicely done. Take a closer look at the rotary selector switch starting at the off position, followed by low pass filter, volts, AC, and frequency duty cycle. Volts DC, millivolts AC DC, as well as frequency and duty cycle. Diode, resistance, capacitance, and continuity. Frequency up to a whopping 220 megahertz. HFE or transistor mode. Microamps AC/DC as well as frequency and duty cycle. Milliamps AC/DC as well as frequency and duty cycle. High current amps AC/DC as well as frequency and duty cycle. Finally, NCV or non-contact voltage detection. The top left we have our range function, followed by the frequency as well as our USB, rel mode, and our peak max min. Bottom left we have our select, and on the far right we have our hold, which doubles as a backlight. Bottom of the meter we have our HFE, microamps, and milliamps, followed on the bottom left by high current amps up to 20 amps. Beside that we have our common or ground, and finally on the far right we have our diode, capacitance, frequency, volts, resistance, and continuity. Here we can see the NCV or non-contact voltage signifier on the top left of the UT61E+. That is telling us when we're doing that NCV detection to make sure we're using this side of the meter. We'll see just how good that is. Okay, let's turn it on, shall we? Bada boom, bada bing, bada bang. Wow, we are greeted with 22,000 counts of display goodness on the 61E+. Now on its other brothers, the 61B and the D, it's only 6,000 counts. So if you want that 22,000, you gotta splurge for the 61E+. And when I say splurge, yeah, we're pushing about $100 at least for this multimeter. Price might come down once the initial excitement has worn off, but who knows? Maximum display on that bar graph is 31 segments on the D and the B, and on this one, 46. Wow. Let's try that backlight. There we go. And yeah, let's see if I'll turn the light down here in the studio. So nice, even backlight, no bleeding, and I like what I see. It's a little on the dim side, perhaps not as bright as I would like it, but definitely doable. Very nice display, crisp. I like what I see. Yeah, now this does not have that auto backlight feature such as the Pro Series models, so you do have to turn it on automatically. Doing a side-by-side, the 195E, you can tell the font is definitely a little smaller. Actually, it's the same style font you'll get on the 191T. 195E on the far right, the 191T on the left, and in the middle, the 61E+. Now the backlight is on. Turn it off, turn it back on. So yeah, it's very evenly distributed. It's sometimes almost hard to tell you've got the backlight enabled, but it is enabled. And you know what? It stays on. Yes, it stays on. Good job, Unity. Thank you so much for listening. The backlight will not go off unless you want to turn it off. Thank heavens. Pleasant surprises. That screen is really viewable. Doesn't matter what angle you're looking at. It just does not disappear. Always in sight. Unity test leads are really, really nice. One of the nicest I've seen come out of the Unity stables thus far. They're gold tipped at the end, as you can see. Very nice. We have that safety shroud over here. If you want to take it down cat rating for better access to those small components, you can. And these are really, really long, about 49 inches, around 125 centimeters. Crazy. Actual fit on the 61E+. Look at that. Beautiful. Unity definitely stepped up their game. Nice shrouding, very modular look, and fits like a glove. Starting off with their DC accuracy test, 2.500 is what we want, and we're awfully close, 2.501. Next up, 5.000. Look at that resolution, gotta love it. And we're pretty well there, 5.000, yes! Now 7.502, and look at that. Accuracy is the name of the game. 7.50203. It's waffling, but it's awfully close. Finally, next, 10.001, 10.002. Great job. Right now we're at AC volts, 121 volts. Excellent. And to get to that frequency, there we go, 60 hertz frequency, 59.9 showing up, and finally, duty cycle 49.4%. As well, we have that high voltage annunciator right here, just letting us know that we are in the danger zone. LPF, or low pass filter, low impedance, whatever you want to call it. Low impedance AC mode, it's used to make accurate voltage measurements when you're coupling into an open circuit. You don't want to get a false reading. And to get it, simply hit that select button, and you can see the little LO annunciator, just to let us know that we are now in low impedance. So we're getting a true AC signal, 121.8 volts, true RMS. When you turn the meter on, by default, it goes into the auto off mode, which means it will shut down in about 15 minutes of inactivity. Now, to disable that, it's pretty simple, really. When you turn the meter on, just hold down on that select button, and you hear those 5 quick beeps, and you can see that auto is gone, so it will now stay on indefinitely. All right, we're in resistance mode right now, and I've got 2 Vichy resistors in series. Should be looking around 200 mega ohm, and yeah, pretty darn close, 199.6, definitely in spec. Next up, a 100 ohm lab resistor. Let's see if we have any resistance on the leads. And just a tad, so we're going to round that out. All right, let's try it out now. 100 ohm is what we want. And yeah, beautiful, pretty well spot on. Finally, we'll look at the speed and resistance range, sitting at 1 mega ohm right now. 1.1, 1.11, 1.111, 3 mega ohm, 6 mega ohm, 10 mega ohm. Next up, it's diode mode. In the diode setting right now, first we're going to try a standard diode. Let's see if we have any problems. I doubt it. Oh, and look at that. Excellent. So we have that audible beep as well as a green illuminator at the top, letting us know that that diode is good. Excellent. Here we go, checking these LEDs. Starting off with the green, it is lit, and we have forward voltage drop. Same with the yellow. Over to the green. Oh, sorry, the red. Looking good. Blue. It is lit, but we cannot get a forward voltage drop. And over to the white. And it is also lit, but no forward voltage drop. So 3 out of 5 in terms of the actual forward voltage drop indication, and 5 out of 5 for lighting them all up. 2.93 volts, the output voltage in diode mode. Now you'll notice that they're calling this a digital multimeter for the electrician. I'm not sure why they put that moniker on here. Finally, we're going to take a look at NCV, non-contact voltage. We put it into NCV mode on the 61E+, and you can see we have that EF. And let's see how good it is. I want to keep it on this side of the meter because that is the sensitive point. Wow. So I'm really pressing here. These are all hot, live AC lines. Wow. So, not sensitive at all. Capacitance is next. Now, the best I can do is 100,000 microfarad, 100 millifarad. But this bad boy does 220 millifarad, 220,000 microfarad. Whew. Well, today we're going to try 100, and we'll see how quick at least it is to range. Here we go. Here we go. 100,000 microfarad is what we want to see. It is thinking. Now it's a millifarad range. Bada boom, bada bing, bada bang. Come on, there we are, 99.5. Here's a low range in capacitance, 100 microfarad. Yeah, no worries there. 3.3 microfarad. Yep. Okay, right now we're in nanofarad. 9 nanofarad, 8 nanofarad, 7 nanofarad, 6, 4 nanofarad, 1 nanofarad. Looking good. Next up, continuity, and I've got these gorgeous UNI-T gold tip leads to start off with. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Alrighty, 3, 2, 1. Wow. Oh, wow, that is, like, super fast. And we also have that visual indicator at the top. It just can't keep up with that latching, though. It is so fast. Whoa. That is a 10 out of 10. Probe Masters are next. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Honestly, can it be too good? Is that such a thing when it comes to continuity? Wow. Incredibly, wow. Yeah, I'm speechless. 83.6 decibels maximum output volume in continuity. That's loud. That's really loud. Here we are, voltage showdown. A couple of the big boys on either side, the 195E on the left and the 191T on the right, sitting at 1.99 volts right now, 1.99 all across the board. Here we go, taking it up. Let's go to 5 volts. 5.00 according to the power supply, 5.003 for the 191T, 4.99 for the 195E. Let's take it up, 21.8 volts, 21.8 spot on UNI-T 61E, 21.8 as well for our ever so accurate UT 191T, and 21.7 for the 195. Okay, up and away. We're gonna max it out now. 32 even Steven volts according to the power supply, 32.01 spot on for the 61E, 32.01 for the 191T, and 31.96 for the 195. So great job. Yeah, you can tell that this 61E Plus is definitely a accurate meter in the DC range. And don't forget that 191T, this is one of my most accurate meters. It is as good as any calibrated meter I have, always spot on, and it's great to see that the 61E Plus is following in those footsteps. Right now we're in high current amps, 3.2 amps, been in there for about 3 minutes, and yeah, no worries here. Bring it down, 2.6 amps, 1 amp even, looking good. Right now we are in milliamp mode, and we're sitting at just under 100 milliamps, 98.8 according to the UNI-T. Now, according to the UNI-T as well, this has a maximum input, it says, of 1 amp. 1 amp on that milliamp range. That's what it's fused with. So let's see how high we can get. Sitting at 200 milliamps right now. Wow, love that resolution. Let's take it to 300 milliamps, and oh, wow. What just happened? We are OL at 300 milliamps. Okay, interesting. Let's bring it down. Back under 200, 198 milliamps, not an issue. So it looks like we're being stonewalled at the 200 milliamp threshold. Well, according to the manual, it's telling us we have a 220 milliamp rating here. So, interesting. 220 milliamp rating, but they've given us a 1 amp fuse, apparently. Doesn't make any sense. It's high voltage time. Here we go, starting off with 250 volts all the way up to 1000. Put the safety goggles on. 3, 2, 1. 250 big ones. There we go. Just over 280 volts, and it seems to have survived. Let's take it up to 500 volts. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, 562 volts, looking good. Finally, we're gonna max it out now, just over 1000 volts. Here we go. And you can see we have that high voltage alarm, as well as that visual indicator at the top, and that annunciator telling us we are in the danger zone. Great stuff. So it survived. Looking good. Right now we are sitting at 10 megahertz, and I am maxed out right now, but this is capable of 220 megahertz, a whopping frequency range for a multimeter. Great stuff. Teardown time, here we go. Starting off with the batteries, we have one Phillips screw, and it simply removes. So you can tell we have a nice threaded metal insert there, and yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Instant access to those 4 AAA batteries, no longer a 9-volt, 4 AAA batteries. power UNI-T 61E Plus. As well, we have those two fuses, both the high current 10 amp and the low current 1 amp. Now, for some strange reason, I couldn't go higher than 200 milliamps, even though it's a 1 amp fuse on the low current range. Nonetheless, really nice to see easy access to the fuses. No longer do you have to take apart the entire meter if you blow a fuse. Here we are on the reverse side, and oh my God, look at that. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Oh, it's a metal plate. Definitely, this is shielding. And yeah, okay, a bottle of champagne. Tell me if I should open up that bottle of champagne or not. I need to know. It's awfully close. I'm on the edge here. Anyway, gorgeous. Very, very nice. Here are the springs. This is what feeds the batteries, and it makes contact with the reverse side of the PCB, which we're going to look at right now. On the right here, we have the 61E Plus. On the left, we have the UT195. Right away, you can see a difference in terms of that honkin' HRC fuse on the high current. We don't have that on the 61. Nonetheless, it is a 10 amp high current fuse, ceramic, but not one of those high rupture capacity like we see over here. Same thing goes for the 1 amp fuse. Now, what's really impressive is look at the PTCs and MOVs. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 PTCs identical to the 195. And actually, we have 3 MOVs, metal oxide varistors, as opposed to the 2. No, I'm sorry, there is 3. Yeah, it was sneaking underneath. I didn't see that. My mistake. But we are on par with the 195 in terms of the input protection. Great. Placement of the current shunt just slightly different. On the bottom of the board on the 195, over here on the 61, it's on an angle, pretty well in the middle, but look at that awesome isolation here. Some really nice isolation going on. Very, very nicely done. Here we have a high-powered resistor. There's our speaker, our tin can oscillator, and at the top of the meter here we have the LCD controller. That's the HY2613. B, it's a 4x36 LCD controller, does it all in terms of handling that display. Directly below it, that is the main IC. That's the HC32L130J8TA ARM Cortex, 64 KB of ROM, 8 kilobits of RAM. This is part of the 48 megahertz Cortex family of on-chip processors, and that is all of the brains of the unit right there. At the top, we have the LEDs for that USB header. And below, on the side, we've got our NCV filament. Look at that. It's an actual protrusion. So the metal filament right here, that is the NCV non-contact voltage detection filament. You can see very interesting design. I don't know why they've only kept it on the corner as opposed to letting it go throughout the entire spectrum of the chassis, but anyway, it is what it is. That's probably why that NCV is so poor. Closing thoughts on the UNI-T UT61E Plus. Whoa, did I ever love this multimeter? I was so excited when it arrived, and it did not let me down. Some great new additions, now running on 4 AAA batteries, and then they didn't just add a backlight, but the backlight stays on permanently. Oh, thank you so much. Don't get me started on those incredible sets of ranges, 220 mega ohm, 220 millifarad, 220 megahertz frequency. I mean, incredible. Plus the addition of that low pass filter is a huge bonus. Unfortunately, it's not all a bed of roses in UT61E Plus land. That HFE really might not be very useful for some people. That HFE module is really big and clunky. Honestly, I would have preferred to see a dedicated temperature setting instead. And don't even get me started on that NCV. Oh, that was so incredibly poor. Not very useful. Definite bonus in the input protection department, a huge step up. Unfortunately, the 61E Plus is still using 250 volt fuses, and there's still no UL listing. Why oh why? I really wish it would have been third-party tested by an independent lab. The optical input-output USB data logging mode just didn't work for me. That's why I didn't do it in the review. I tried 3 different Windows 10 machines, all with no luck. Same error code, time after time. I didn't try it on Windows 7 machine because honestly, Windows 7 is no longer supported by Microsoft. So UNI-T should definitely make it work
with Windows 10. And by the way, Unity, if software is only available as a digital download, then please make it available. I went to the Unity website and there was no software download to be found. I didn't get to verify the burden voltage, as we know the previous incarnation it was very high. I'll try to do that in a follow-up review. At the end of the day though, this is a much anticipated upgrade to an already great multimeter. Yeah, there's bugs, but hopefully they can be worked out in the short term. It's powerful, has an incredible set of ranges, and impressive input protection. Despite its shortcomings, I still think it's a great buy, and hopefully it'll do just as well or even better than the original. The UNI-T UT61E Plus gets a solid 4 out of 5 stars. Thank you so much, Unity, for sending it in for the review.
What a beautiful sight to behold, don't you think? This coming Christmas Day, December 25th, I'll be giving away at least one of these multimeters, maybe more. We'll see how generous old Santa Claus is. All you have to do is like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. That's right, and you're automatically entered to win a great Unity multimeter on Christmas Day. Hey, wouldn't that be the perfect way to start the day? Thanks for watching, everybody. Till the next one, keep on testing.